Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Omotayo Alo. In our major stories tonight, President Muhammad Buhari is set to participate in the 2015 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which begins in the island nation on Friday, 27 November. Also in this program, the House of Representatives is to investigate claims allegedly made by Inspector General of Police Solomon Arashi that about 90,000 police officers died in the war against insurgency in last year. The Senate has summoned the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over the reoccurring cases of collapse of bridges in many parts of the country. And from outside Nigeria, Tunisia says it is closing its land border with war-torn Libya for 15 days after a deadly bus bombing killed at least 13 people on a presidential guard bus in Tunis. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now the news in full. President Muhammad Buhari is set to participate in the 2015 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which begins in the island nation on Friday, 27 November. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari and other heads of state and government who will be in Malta for this year's summit are expected to deliberate on fresh Commonwealth initiatives and development and climate change with a view to adding greater value to ongoing global efforts in these areas. Adesina disclosed that President Buhari will leave Malta for Paris on Sunday, where he will present Nigeria's statement at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, scheduled to open in French capital on Monday, November 30. To accompany the President on this trip are Minister of Foreign Affairs Godfrey Onyama, and Minister of Environment Amina Mohammed, and National Security Advisor Major General Babagana Muguno, retired. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Dan Ali, is convinced that the nation's military is capable of putting an end to insurgents. Speaking at the Nigerian Air Force Base, Kaduna, during the commissioning of project for training command, the minister said the troops are sufficiently motivated for the task at hand. The House of Representatives is to investigate claims allegedly made by Inspector General of Police Solomon Arashi that about 90,000 police officers died in the war against insurgency last year. This was on the basis of a motion by Representative Ahmed Nasir, who noted that the declaration was alarming considering the delicate situation in the country. Correspondent Jamil Afegwa brings us this report.
That is the only way they can.
The lawmaker behind the motion is concerned that the shortage of manpower in the police force and its attendant effects are being felt all over the country. He argued that the remaining ones should be protected.
A situation where we are talking about 90,000 policemen being killed, when the total policemen we have in the country is about 350,000. So if you say 90,000, you're talking about one quarter or 1/5 of the entire policemen in Nigeria. It is very, very unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, it is time that this Honorable House ensures that the Nigerian police force are well taken care of. Their salaries are paid on time, their welfare is protected, and that is the only way they can operate at their best capacity.
Some of the members feel that the recruitment should be systematic since the force already faced a lot of challenges.
The numbers of policemen are lagging in the sense that where reports are made to police divisions, in most cases, the response is either low or there is no response at all. At the end of it all, for the purpose the report may have been made, you will not get results.
The motion also resolved to call on the federal government to adhere to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended in the recruitment of police force to reflect the federal character. The motion has been referred to the Committee on Police Affairs for legislative input. Meanwhile, 8 bills were presented for first reading, while the ones seeking to make the appointment of service chiefs subject to the confirmation by the National Assembly scaled through second reading. Jamil Afegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Senate has summoned the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over the reoccurring cases of collapse of bridges in many parts of the country. Senators want him to brief them on a viable action plan to construct all valley bridges across the country. The resolution follows a motion by the senator representing Enugu East, Gilbert Inaji, on reoccurring collapse of valley bridges nationwide.
The Senate accordingly resolved to 1. Mandate the Senate Committee on Works to undertake an inventory of all buried bridges nationwide with particular attention to their years of construction and current status, and to invite the Minister for Power, Works and Housing to brief the committee on a viable plan of action for the reconstruction of all buried bridges nationwide and report back to the Senate within 4 weeks.
Federal lawmakers on Wednesday raised questions on the absence of a proper administrative and political structure for the Federal Capital Territory. This was during the debate that trailed the second reading of the bill for an act to provide an administrative and political structure for area councils of the FCT, sponsored by Philip Aduda. A National Assembly correspondent, Basiaye, reports that the senators all agreed that the laws supporting local government existence must be revised.
The bill came up for second reading under the watch of the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, who was in charge of proceedings on the day. It was one of the matters taken after a closed-door session that lasted an hour. Opening the debate, the sponsor of the bill, Philip Aduda, representing the FCT, expressed concerns that the area has been allowed to suffer for so long. This, in his view, is part of the reasons why the nation's capital has lost out on several benefits.
The need for a piece of legislation to cater for the composition, structure, finance, etc. of the area councils of the Federal Capital Territory is long overdue. We are fortified here by the provision of Section 303 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, which provides thus: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, shall comprise of 6 area councils, and the administrative and political structure thereof shall be as provided by an act of the National Assembly. As a responsive parliament charged with the responsibility of making laws for the good governance of the Federal Capital Territory, the National Assembly must strive to accord the area councils in the Federal Capital Territory a befitting law.
The bill enjoyed support from senators who called for the review of laws they say have become obsolete.
One of the legacies that should be left behind by the ex-Senate now is to see that we are able to pass this bill. Abuja has been a host to the federal government and most importantly to the National Assembly. And with the structure of Abuja, certainly issues could be legitimately challenged in court. And I've said it many times that it has taken so long for us to do what is so simple. And I believe that with what was said in the bill, that it will cost nothing for us to arrive at a bill. We should explain to Nigerians why we've been administering the Federal Capital Territory without relevant laws for the past 15, 16 years. I can't seem to understand that.
The bill was referred to the Committee on FCT, headed by Dino Melaye, for further legislative action. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
We will be back with more stories right after this break. Stay with us.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
But some people will strong for Yoruba land. Will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome. If you're just joining us, it's CoreTV Primetime News. Here is a quick reminder of our major stories. President Muhammad Buhari is set to participate in the 2015 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which begins in the island nation on Friday, 27 November. Also in this program, the House of Representatives is to investigate claims allegedly made by Inspector General of Police Solomon Arashi that about 90,000 police officers died in the war against insurgency last year. The Senate has summoned the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over the reoccurring cases of collapse of bridges in many parts of the country. For more news and information, visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. You could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, Liverspace and News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has engaged the services of the Department of State Services and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in an effort to check hoarding and diversion of petroleum product. NNPC explained in the statement issued in Abuja that the security agents would also assist in the monitoring nationwide movement of fuel trucks to retail outlets. It apologized to commuters, motorists and the general public for the noticeable hardship in getting petrol across the country, but assured them that it was doing everything possible to normalize the situation. Speaking during a working visit to the NNPC depot in Suleja, Niger State, the Group Executive Director, Commercial and Investment, Babatunde Adeniran, said any marketer, including NNPC retail outlets, found wanting would be sanctioned appropriately. For her part, Managing Director of the Pipelines and Products Marketing Company, Esther Inamdi Ogbu, said the DSS and EFCC have been mobilized to bring to book any marketer involved in sabotaging government efforts. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in the case involving Yanati Petrochemical Limited, an oil marketing company, over an alleged 1.8 billion naira petroleum subsidy fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is asking the Appellate Court to set aside the judgment of Justice Adeni Ademola of the Federal High Court, Abuja, that all investigations into the alleged petroleum subsidy fraud against the defendant had been concluded. The anti-graft agency insisted that it has not furnished any court with any evidence to show that any investigation had been concluded. It therefore wants the court to set aside the judgment earlier delivered by Justice Ademola. After listening to both counsels, Justice Tinuola Akomolafe Williams reserved judgment in the case. EFCC said in a statement that Yanati's managing director, Elias Adeojo, was given approval by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPRA, to import 30,000 tons of premium motor spirit, PMS, under the Petroleum Support Scheme in the first quarter of 2011. It added that the defendant claimed he imported 31,256.992 metric tons in March 2011 via MT Bertha, but investigation showed that only 10,187.353 metric tons were discharged. The Commission claimed that the company thereafter received 1.8 billion naira in unearned subsidy from the federal government. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has fixed January 20, 2016 for ruling in the suit filed by original indigents of Abuja against the federal government over the refusal to grant them a ministerial slot. Justice Ahmed Mohammed reserved judgment after hearing the argument of both sides. The plaintiffs want a declaration by the court that Abuja natives are entitled to a ministerial appointment into the Federal Executive Council, and that the non-appointment over the years is a flagrant violation of their constitutional and human rights. They are also demanding compensatory exemplary damages and legal costs totaling 1.310 billion naira, as well as a public apology. Musa Baba Paya, who filed the case on behalf of the original Inhabitants Development Association of Abuja, described the development as reassuring and expressed hope that justice would be dispensed in favor of Abuja natives. The federal government has meanwhile filed a notice of preliminary objection, challenging the court's jurisdiction to entertain the suit. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmoud Mohammed, wants judicial officials in the country to always live above board in the course of discharging their legal duties. Justice Mohammed made this point at the occasion of a valedictory sitting in honor of a retired Supreme Court Judge, Justice John Fabi. He described the retired Justice of the Supreme Court as a man of integrity and a resourceful jurist. Judicial correspondent Basil Okafo reports.
This ceremonial court session attracted the high and mighty in the legal profession. They are here in their wings and ceremonial attires in honor of their colleagues who has retired from the Supreme Court. The CJN, in a remark, said after serving the nation for 40 years, Justice Fabi has contributed to the development of the legal profession through landmark judgments.
Honorable Justice John Afolade Fabi is well-traveled, well-read, and vain. In addition, I must say that having spent a year residing with his lordship while we were together in Enugu, I found his lordship to be a wonderful conservationist and morally upright and incorruptible judge and very decent person.
My Lord, Honorable Justice Fabi, I congratulate you once more and pray that the Almighty God will bless you with long life, good health, and a cheerful disposition to enjoy your retirement in peace and joy.
Speaker after speaker described Justice Fabi as a legal colossus who rendered selfless service to his nation. The President Nigerian Bar Association, Augustine Alege, used the occasion to advocate for adequate security for judicial officers.
Our government has an obligation to provide an enabling and secure environment for judicial officers to work. Our courts must be adequately fortified and made safe for both judicial officers and litigants. Instances where courts were bombed and vandalized by unscrupulous elements in a bid to thwart the cause of justice are totally condemnable.
That the issue of smooth, efficient, and effective prosecution starts from investigation of offenders, arrest, writing of legal opinion, vetting of opinion, preferring the appropriate charge or charges, arraignment, calling of witnesses, and so on. As at the time the matter is in court, a lot also depends on the quality of the prosecutor, the quality and experience of the presiding judge, and the quality and integrity of the defense lawyer.
In a remark, the retiring justice reminded lawyers of the values of justice, truth, and fairness. This, he said, were fundamental to any legal system.
I have a word for the lawyers. The value of justice, truth, and fairness are fundamental to any legal system. They are immanent within the law itself, its fabric, and its practice. The faithfulness of the legal profession and the courts to the vindication of these values is the basis of the trust in and loyalty to the law, the court, and the administration of justice, which all in our society should have. Lawyers who are part of this system must be prepared to stand up for individuals, institutions, and against unfairness, oppression, tyranny, or injustice, even at the risk of incurring the resentment and anger of others.
With the retirement of Justice Fabi on Wednesday, the Supreme Court is now left with 16 justices. Basil Okafor, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Taraba State government has released 1.7 billion naira for the digitization of state broadcast station in Taraba State. This was disclosed to newsmen after a closed-door meeting of the State Executive Council in Jalingo. Child rights activists are seeking the participation of traditional rulers in efforts to ensure that child and family health issues get to the grassroots. The Partnership in Advocacy for Child and Family Health says they are the right target to lend their voices on the matter. The group said at an advocacy session that traditional rulers are better equipped to educate their subject on health challenges facing innocent and ignorant mothers.
Issue leads family planning, childhood killer diseases, nutrition, and routine immunization. FOMON is also to adopt a proactive role by initiating an enabling environment to support and harmonize activities and messages of the issue leads, so that the voices of traditional leaders will add pressure on policy makers.
This program has broadened the mind and also giving in call on us, we Nigerians, especially the northern part, more particularly the Muslim Ummah, that it's high time we embrace what the government policies in the area of health sectors. Haven't we understand that prevention is better than cured? So we don't allow until the health of our children is worsened and they died because we disallow them to attend health facilities. And our mother, sister, and daughter are dying because we disallow them to attend antenatal. It is wrong. So we are urging Nigerians, especially the husbands, the Muslim woman particularly, that we should allow our mothers, our daughters and sisters to attend health facility for treatment.
Doctors in Lagos have hailed the effort of the state governor, Akinomi Ambode, for his efforts towards resolving the outstanding issues relating to welfare of doctors as well as improving the healthcare delivery in the state. Speaking at the General Meeting, Scientific Conference and Continuing Medical Education of the Medical Guild in Lagos, Chairman of the Guild B. Kufo disclosed that the governor has, among other things, lifted the suspension of intake of new residents into the residency training program. He also disclosed that Governor Ambade had directed that medical doctors currently on contract should be converted to permanent staff and the salaries during the 3 months of industrial action be paid. In his keynote address, Governor Ambade, who was represented by his special advisor on primary health care, Femi Ononuga, assured that the state government under his watch will be open to suggestions for efficient healthcare delivery systems in the state. We take another break, and when we come back, we'll bring you business, foreign and sports stories. Stay with us.
Is it what crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
In business, the Naira on Wednesday strengthened against the dollar as it traded for 240 Naira at the parallel market. It gained 1 Naira on Wednesday afternoon to exchange for 240 to the dollar as against 241 its previous rate. Meanwhile, its rate at the interbank window remained at 197 Naira to the dollar. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele stated this while answering questions from newsmen at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja. He urged genuine forex buyers to use the Bureau de Change and other authorized sources for forex, adding that their rates were far better than what was obtained at the parallel market. The transmission company Nigeria has declared that it has achieved a new record peak generation of 4,883.9 megawatts and the highest maximum daily energy delivery of 288.48 megawatt. The Managing Director, System Operation Market Operation, TCN, Engineer Deepak Sama, attributed the achievement to the improvement in the supply of gas to the power generating stations and enhanced cooperation among all the stakeholders. TCN has, however, assured that it will continue to strive at improving the network capacity to deliver more quality power to the electricity distribution companies. And to the foreign scene, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says Russia and Turkey will not go to war over the downing of a Russian warplane by Turkey, which he described as a planned provocation. Addressing journalists today, Lavrov said there are serious doubts that the attack is an unpremeditated attack. Lavrov, who cancelled a trip to Istanbul scheduled for Wednesday, said Moscow would seriously reconsider its relations with Ankara over a downed plane. The Russian Sukhoi Su-24 warplane was shot down on Tuesday for allegedly violating Turkish airspace, angering Russia's President Vladimir Putin, who compared the incident to being stabbed in the back. One of the warplane's two pilots was shot and killed after parachuting from the burning plane, while his crewmate was rescued by Syrian forces and delivered in good condition at a Russian airbase in Latakia province. Speaking to Russian state media on Wednesday, the rescued pilot said no prior warning was issued by Turkish jets. Tunisia says it is closing its land border with war-torn Libya for 15 days after a deadly bus bombing killed at least 13 people on a presidential guard bus in Tunis. In a statement, the National Security Council, headed by President Berji Kard Esbesi, said they decided to close the frontier from midnight with reinforced surveillance of maritime borders and in airports. The bus was hit on busy Mohammed V Boulevard on Tuesday evening, prompting President Abbasi to impose a nationwide state of emergency. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL claimed responsibility for the attack in a statement shared on its supporters' social media accounts on Wednesday. The President's office further disclosed that in addition to temporarily closing its Libya border crossing, Tunisia will hire 6,000 more recruits for security forces and act to protect itself against Tunisians returning from conflict zones like Syria. Pope Francis has called for ethnic and religious reconciliation after arriving in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, at the start of his Land Three-Nation African trip. Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and a group of traditional dancers and singers welcomed Pope Francis upon arrival at Nairobi's airport at the beginning of a 6-day tour that will also take him to Uganda and Central African Republic, a country hit by ongoing Muslim-Christian violence and instability. In his first official trip to the continent, the Pope urged all Kenyans on Wednesday to work for peace and forgiveness and warned of the need to address poverty as a key driver of conflict. Pope Francis also urged world leaders to protect the environment for future generations and pursue responsible economic development. France's leading Islamic body has called for imams to be licensed before being allowed to preach. This move by the French Council for the Muslim Religion to test the imams their knowledge of Islam and French values has prompted criticisms from voices within the country's Muslim community. During a meeting with French Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve in Paris, the president of the council, Anouar Kebech, said the move would ensure religious leaders promote a tolerant version of Islam. This proposal follows attacks by Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL group on the French capital, which left 130 people dead. And now to the world of sport.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, no, he takes Puyol with a flying lead.
Go, taking them out in the lead and
In sport, the under-23 national team, Dream Team 6, are built to depart from Banjul, Gambia, where it has been camping for the past 10 days for the CAF Under-23 African Cup of Nations built for Senegal. According to the secretary of the team, Sirajul Hassan, the delegation made up of 23 players, 10 accompanying officials will depart the Banjul International Airport at about 11 p.m. aboard Eric Airline for the 30-minute flight to Dhaka. The team is expected to play its last friendly game against the Gambian under-20 side, the Baby Scorpions, tomorrow by 5 p.m. Nigerian time before departing. The team on arrival in Dhaka will then proceed to Mbo venue of its first two Group B games. The Dream Team 6 will begin their quest to qualify for the Rio Olympics when they take on West African rivals Mali on Sunday, November 29 at the Caroline Fire Stadium in Mbo. Real Madrid midfielder Isco has been under the 2-game suspension on Wednesday for his wild kick on Barcelona's Yama that saw him sent off in Madrid's miserable 4-0 defeat at the weekend. The Spanish international was on the field for less than 30 minutes, having come as a second-half substitute before taking his frustration out on Barca's brilliant Brazilian. As a result, Isco will miss Madrid's trip to Eibar on Sunday and Geta's visit to Santiago Bernabeu in Madrid derby on December 5. And just before we go tonight, here is a quick reminder of our top stories. President Muhammad Buhari is set to participate in the 2015 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which begins in the island nation on Friday, 27 November. And also, the House of Representatives is to investigate claims allegedly made by Inspector General Police Solomon Arashi that about 90,000 police officers died in the war against insurgency last year. Finally, the Senate has summoned the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, over the reoccurring cases of collapse of bridges in many parts of the country. On behalf of the entire news crew, thank you so very much for watching. My name is Omotayo Alo. Have a good night rest.